it's always a plus not to have any setbacks this time of year. So far, knock on wood, we've gotten some good rest. We've gotten enough reps. We're not overtraining right now. Just trying to keep them dialed in mentally more than anything, and get them the physical rest so that they can feel as fresh as possible. That's a hard balancing act to always know if you're doing exactly what you ought to be doing. But I feel like, based on the inter squads that we had Friday and then again yesterday, that they're in a pretty good place right now.
What exactly has the practice schedule looked like last week?
Well, we came out of SECs and I gave them 2 days of recovery rest. We did, some basic conditioning and what we call FRC. It's more functional mobility, range of motion kind of things that are injury prevention oriented. We did that for 2 days, and we trained Tuesday and Wednesday, took off Thursday. That would mimic our travel day and the day that we're going to have out there. We did an inter squad, 3-event inter squad on Friday, recovery routine on Saturday with some basics and some massage and things of that nature, and then back in on Sunday with a 3-event inter squad yesterday. Friday was our floor day, and yesterday was our vault day, and just not trying to do the 2 leg events, trying to manage those 2 to make sure that we're giving them the recovery they need. So we were trying to mimic what's going to happen this week. So we're off today. We'll be on tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll travel Wednesday evening after practice. Get out there. Thursday we'll have a recovery day, our FRC routine. We'll do our look through, which they don't call it a walkthrough. They let you walk into the arena and kind of see how the equipment is laid out. When we went to this new format several years ago and we kept what we're not supposed to call a play-in, but that's what it is. It eliminated our training day at regionals, and so we don't get on the equipment until we warm up to compete, similar to a regular season meet. But in the past, for as long as I can remember, there was always a training day there. So we do a look through and we go into the arena. We can see the layout. I can let them kind of walk around, close their eyes, and kind of go through mentally what they kind of their mental imagery routines, and then we'll go back to the hotel, have a meeting. We've got a little team activity we'll do. We'll do what we call Power Circle, which is kind of a group mental imagery thing, and then get up. So a pretty early day on Friday. Meet starts at 3 o'clock their time. I think we leave the hotel about 10:30, 10:45. So it'll be a little bit out of the ordinary from a schedule standpoint, but we've just been trying to mimic that pattern as much as we can.
It sounds like you're putting a really big emphasis on rest. Is that kind of the main priority right now for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think this time of year in general, even when things have gone exactly as you would have planned, less is more this time of year in many ways, because it's a long season and there's a lot of fatigue, not just physically, but just overall, mentally, emotionally. But then when you compound that with all the well-chronicled sort of adversity that this team has gone through and handled, I think rest is a big thing for them. We noticed an uptick in their energy yesterday, particularly on vault. The vaults were huge, so big they couldn't land them very well. I mean, they had their legs under them really well yesterday, and that's a good sign. So hopefully we can be able to dial that in on the landings and take advantage of that increased energy. But yeah, I would say in general it's always a priority this time of year, but maybe a little more so this year than in years past.
You started the year at Utah, which is a high elevation. Denver's higher.
Mm-hmm.
Does that affect anything? Maybe
No.
on the floor? Or?
No, it shouldn't.
Your feet are so short. Maybe.
It shouldn't by now. I mean, you're and it's anaerobic anyway. And most of the time, they say altitude sickness starts about 1.5 miles up. I mean, I don't think so. We went out there a day early because we could when we were at Utah to kind of acclimate because we were in the holidays and there was no school. I've been out to Denver. I know a lot of teams that have competed out there. I don't believe that's a problem. It's not anything that we're really worried about. We are going to take Haley down to a 2-pass routine, not because of that, but just because she's she's been ridden hard this year, and had to go and was showing signs of fatigue at SEC. So just sort of precautionary. We could have done. We had a plan that we in our back pocket that we could do that, and so that's what we're planning to do with her. But other than that, there's really no. We'll be out there for 36 hours before we compete and go.
Would you stay with that 2-pass routine through nationals, or you want to see?
Just depends to see how it goes. We'll see. She's not opposed to going back to it. I don't know that. It's more of a philosophical thing for me, as I've told you guys in the past. I prefer that our sport continue to progress rather than regress. But you don't want to be hard-headed about it either. If there's if that's the rules we're playing by, then let's play by them. So we still have our 3-pass routines that are out there, but I think we'll just play it safe this week and see how it goes.
Which pass is?
The last pass will come out, so she'll do the double front and the front lay Rudy.
No, I'm sure none of the regionals are easy, but this is a hard one with the teams you have there and the host that you have in Denver.
Yeah, it's there are no such thing as easy regionals anymore. Since we went to the new format, we have gone to the 2-day format, but not only that, we condensed the number of sites from 6 to 4, and so you've concentrated the good teams, and there's more good teams now than there were even 10 years ago. I mean, you can go 15, 20 deep, and there's teams with RQSs above a 197 or NQSs above 197. It's just a much deeper field than historically it was. I can remember a time in my career when it was 3 teams and everybody else, and so the pool of talent has grown, and so there's a lot more good teams, there's a lot more good coaches who are working hard at their craft and doing a good job collegiately. And so there's no such thing as an easy out. Every year we've had this format, there's been a top team that's been eliminated in regionals. It was Florida one year, it was Alabama one year, it was us last year. So you can pretty much predict that. I don't know whether it'll be this year or not, but as a whole, this is sort of a meat grinder meet, and in many ways is as difficult as going to. Once you get to nationals, it's kind of like you pop the can off, like you pop the lid off the can and the air comes out because But right now it's about qualifying, so it's a meat grinder for sure.
I know you say that y'all don't look back in the past, but I guess with the endings to y'all seasons that y'all had the last 2 years.
Different team, totally different team. They've behaved differently. You've witnessed it. You've seen them go through more than any team I can recall in a long time in my 33 plus years of doing this. They've got their head screwed on straight, and they're together because of so much that they've been through together, and I think it just has created a kind of a rallying point for them. It doesn't mean that mistakes can't happen. It just means that I don't look year over year, and I don't expect them to either. Those things, each year is independent. You introduce new personalities into every year's team and new everything. So last year we also had a new coaching staff. So many things can be different, but no doubt for every team this is a tough weekend.
That spot in the bars lineup that you've kind of
still don't have a lot of clarity on it. Ashley Cowan's doing a really, really good job of pushing to get in there. It's just an experience question more than anything with her. She's it's still a freshman, and we have some proven commodities that are in there that it's just kind of tough to overcome. And just when you think you're getting a little bit of clarity, somebody else steps up and does something really well, and somebody kind of takes a step backwards. No, I don't really know for sure. My gut would tell me that Liv stays in right now, and barring anything unforeseen, it probably will look a lot like it did at SECs.
You still hopeful at least that you can have KJ in a regional final?
For regionals, I don't see how. Yesterday she got out and was bouncing around a little bit on the rod floor a little bit. We let her do some standing back handsprings and some light running on the runway just to kind of see where it was. We did take a look at it on Friday. It's healing. It's not healed. But it's progressing, and the medical staff will be our guide on that. I would love to be able to say, yeah, and I don't think she'll take a lot. I mean, she's such an athlete that if she were to be turned loose, and her mind, if she wasn't afraid of hurting it again, that's always a key with them too. Are they gun shy? When they first come back from an injury, but there's just not a lot of time. She's such an athlete. I don't think she would need much time. But I don't think I don't see any way at this point in time that she'd be ready for regionals. Possibly something for nationals, even if it was in kind of an alternate role, kind of as a stopgap if we got into a tight spot. But we got to get there first, so can't plan for that yet.
I've noticed that there's been a lot of use of hyperbaric chambers. When did that actually start and why?
For us?
Yes.
It started, Bo Lowry, who just left here to go with the Denver Broncos. One of the things he was doing was, was redoing the entire training room and all the facilities, and he kind of was taking a all of the above approach. He wanted to have cryo. He wanted to have the laser therapy beds or the infrared, whatever they are. He wanted to have a hyperbaric chamber. He was moving in that direction, some of which we had already gotten and put in, even though they haven't done the expansion yet. But there's mixed research on it. Some people really feel a benefit from it, and others don't. The idea is to drive oxygen into the cells to kind of help speed healing, particularly with soft tissue type things and recovery. So if you have an ankle sprain or you have some kind of muscular thing like Alona's groin, or that's the thought behind it, is to try and speed healing and decrease recovery time. I don't know that some people really like it, others don't, and it's not something we're forcing on them. It's just I wanted to make it available, so we contracted out with a group here in town that had one, and so some of our kids have been taking advantage of that, and it's good. Yeah, for the most part, it's been really good. They like it. They don't like they get in there and their ears pop and that kind of thing. But
They get claustrophobic.
yeah, I've never been in it. I've never been in it. I've never been in one. I have a friend in Atlanta who owns a couple of sports therapy clinics, and he has them and he swears by them. But when you look at the research, it's 50-50. For every study that says something really good happens, there's others that say it's inconclusive and it really doesn't. But we want to, if they feel like it helps them, I want to provide it to them. I want to give them every resource possible for their recovery and their well-being. If we can do that, then great. That's why we've done that. That's interesting. You knew that. I didn't know that was out there. That I asked Jenny. I said, look into it and see, because we don't have one here, and I know Bo wanted to get one, and she was kind of agreeable to it. So we used. We have a Booster Club account that I was able to. Actually, no, LSU paid for that, because I raised the question of should I use Booster Clubs, but they took care of it.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Where is it? Do you know? Because I don't know.
Football?
Yeah.
No, No, we're off. It's a private group called, I don't know the name of it. It's off. We don't have one here, and so we contracted to get so many sessions for our athletes, and then Jenny has been sending them as she feels is appropriate. So we paid a certain amount for these sessions and got it done.
Isn't there something new upstairs at football?
There's cryotherapy at football now, and there's a, I don't know if it's laser or infrared, one of the red light beds that they say is really good for recovery. It looks like a tanning bed, for lack of a better description, but we have the small lasers that they use that are more like acute joint pain. These are like your whole body, and some of them have said they really feel better when they get out of that. So I don't know if it helps them, or if they think it helps them. I want them to have it. That's half the battle, right? Yeah.